So we have talking about MSc in FNS open elective. Myself, Dr. Imlata, chairperson of Food Science and Nutrition Department. This we have introduced food psychology as one of the open elective, and it is open for all. So this is the first class regarding this. So to start with, the course, psychology involves scientific study of mind and its function. So here we are trying to relate nutrition and psychology. So based on our stress, mood, boredom, anxiety, happiness, we happen to change our food item or our dietary pattern or what we want to consume. So this main concept of where we are involved with dietary and psychological feelings is the one which we are dealing with this course. So this is how it will affect our being healthy, well-being, or full of fitness, or any other deficiency disorder in future. So here, in the very first chapter block, we will be studying about today. I'll be dealing with the block 1. That is which consists of 4 units: food preferences and choices. So how do you make your preference for food, and what will be your choice? How does this roll out in each individual's personality or the way of food he consumes? So globalization and rapid economic development these days have led to urbanization, and because of urbanization, what traditional foods they have been consumed in the people, they have started into different diets and different patterns and different forms of food. So this because of globalization, because of job opportunities, they are coming from place to place, and they are utilizing other new new items which they have never had it also. So this is a fundamental food is a fundamental requirement of a human being, and it is definitely required for both physiologically as well as psychologically well-being. So eating behavior goes beyond nutrition and alleviating hunger. Okay, so food choice involves the selection and consumption of foods and beverages. So how you consume the food, how you want to take it, what you want to do, and whether you would like to have it raw or whether you would like to have it cooked. If so, how? All this comes to the point of food choice and which food do you give preference. So whether you want to have rice instead of wheat, all this comes into point. Then cooking and eating practices are often not only symbolic but also tangible. That means it depends on the ethnic identities. So Chinese may have a different food consumption pattern. US people may have a different food consumption pattern, and as we Indians may have a different food consumption pattern. Within the Indians itself, we have each state having their own food way, own culture, and own sociological and economical behavior. So here, excuse me. Hello, start ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹೌದೇ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ 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 ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದಾನಾ? ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ Are you able to hear me? Okay, thank you. There were some technical issues. So to start up, so we'll continue with the okay. Okay. So we will go to the first unit now. That is food. Okay. We'll go to the first unit. It's food. So food plays a major role in our everyday lives, and it is a fundamental human need, as I spoke earlier. So it takes care of both physiological as well as emotional state, and then it is a sole reason and necessity of life to fulfill the requirement like food, shelter, clothing. So food can be derived by both plants and animals. So plants also gives us food, animal sources also gives us food. So you have flesh, milk, etc. And here plants, you have all the parts of plants which are being used as food. It may be seed, leaf, fruit, or vegetable. So human relation to food is very complex one. So it combines at least two different dimensions. So according to one Ronald Barthes, food is considered to be multi-dimensional. Means it shapes us, our identities, our culture, finally our society also. So this study of construction between the personalities and food and identity and communication has been there from ages and still it's going on. So there are a lot of things which they have been doing in terms of food. What are the things they are trying to figure it out? So food is one of the which nourishes the body, and it is edible in nature, and it is can be liquid, semi-solid, or solid. And when consumed, it has to be digested, absorbed, assimilated, and utilized as a source of energy. Okay, as a source of energy. That means we require food to do our regular works, and we should have strength. And it will also help for bodybuilding, regulation, and production. And it is a mixture of nutrients such as, so all food are made up of carbohydrates, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. So consumption of the right kind of food and amount can ensure good health. Okay. So classification of food. So food may be classified to them based on their functions. That is, they are energy yielding, bodybuilding, and protective foods. So carbohydrates, fats, and proteins release energy and metabolism in our body. So what are the functions of these foods? First of all, physiological functions, then social functions, psychological functions. So physiological function is energy yielding. That is the main carbohydrate, protein, and fat. When it is present in the food, and when we consume that, we will get sufficient quantity of energy in order to perform different course of life. Whether it is our job, whether it is our work, whether it is jogging, working, running, athlete, etc. Then the second part is bodybuilding. So suppose if as soon as the child is born and it attains to 18 years old, until then there is requirement for body growth. So that is taken care by this food. So sufficient quantity of food is not consumed, then the question may arise that the question may arise. It may not possible that the sufficient tissues are grown. Okay, so that's the reason food is required for body building. Then you have another one, protective foods, that is vitamins and minerals. That is, if sufficient quantity of vitamins and minerals are not consumed, then there may be certain deficiency disorders in our body. So the thing is, you may have a high problem. You may have a high problem. You may come into the or there may be skin problems. There may be scurvy, or there may be any other deficiency disorders which undergoes within the body. And also, it acts as a protective food. That means any foreign body entering to our one is taken care by this protective foods, that is vitamins and minerals. So this is the physiological functions. Then comes the social function. Social functions is when it will make people and people to join together. You need to express love to your son. You need to express love to your child or to your friend. Then what is the thing you do? You prepare their favorite dish and then you present it to them. You ask them to consume, or you occasionally intentionally call them for a particular this one, and there it plays a social role. Then psychological factor. After eating this, you will definitely feel comfortable. No, there is a satiety value which gives. There is a fullness which gives to the body. So that is taken care by this. Uh, that is taken care by this top of foods. Okay, so these are the functions of foods what we are talking about. Then physiological significance. This is about the functions. So the next part is physiological significance. So food satisfies the energy needs of the body to sustain involuntary processes which happens in the body. That means the food what we ingested is converted to usable forms of nutrients to conduct the daily activities. Just a moment of high, moment of and, or moment of any other this one. All this is taken care by the food. So this starts from the right from first function. It includes regulation of various activities. The first one is heartbeat, then maintenance of the body temperature, control of water balance, clotting of blood, removal of waste products from the body. So heartbeat. So your heart, in order to beat, you require food. So there are few nutrients which are working as in the heartbeat, mainly iron, which is there in the blood, and other electrolytes like potassium, sodium, etc. Then maintenance of the body temperature. So if the body becomes very chill, it will make it warm. If the body is extremely hot, it will make it chill. That is where it maintains. Then control of water balance. So excess of water is there, it is removed. If there is a need for water, it generates water to a certain extent. Then clotting of blood. So there are certain elements, especially this potassium. If there is no sufficient quantity of that, clotting of blood doesn't take place. So if there is a wound and if clotting of blood doesn't take place, and if the blood is flowing, then you will end up in death, or it may cause a fatal. Then removal of waste products. So unnecessary waste products which are generated or which are metabolized has to be removed by this food. So all these things is the significance of food what it takes place. So I heard again it says, am I audible now? Why the problem of okay, now is it fine? Am I audible? Okay, fine, I'll continue. Then physiological functions of food. So energy yielding foods. So foods which are rich in carbohydrates and fats are called energy yielding foods. Means they provide energy to maintain and perform various functions in the body, and thereby allows to carry out the professional, household, and recreational activities. Then you have bodybuilding foods. So foods rich in protein are called bodybuilding foods. So foods rich in proteins are called bodybuilding foods, and they are mainly milk, meat, eggs, fish, and pulses. They are the one which help to maintain life and promote growth. Then we have the protective and regulatory foods. So foods which are rich in protein, minerals, vitamins, and they are the ones which regulate activities such as maintenance of body temperature, muscle interaction, contact of water balance, etc. So that is protective and regulatory foods. Then you have social functions. That is, as I said, it is a central part of the community, and social and cultural and religious life, everywhere it plays a role. It has been an expression of love, friendship, and happiness. Now coming to the actual subject, psychological functions. So in order to satisfy physical and social needs, foods also satisfy certain emotional needs of the human beings. That means it gives a sense of security, love, and acceptance. So as I said earlier, preparation of some delicious food and providing it to your relative or friend or brother or sister is a token of showing your love towards him. Then Physiological effects of foods. So what are the other effects which happens due to the physiological conditions which happens within our body? So one is hunger and satiety. So humans require nutrients to survive, so they will react to hunger and satiety. So satiety is influenced by variety of macronutrients. For example, fat is one. So if you are consuming only bread, it will not be sufficient for you. It may not give the satiety value. So what do you do for that? You add little butter or some vegetables, and then you consume. Then it gives the fullness. That is the satiety value. And then hunger, if you have not been eaten for longer time, definitely hunger is there. Then taste or palatability. So if you want the food to be improved or it has to be palatable, you need to increase the food through flavor, fragrance, and texture. So if there is a palatability condition, definitely the taste also will be good. So that is about hunger and satiety. Then food as an expression of not to forget the five food groups. We have cereals, grains and products, which include rice, wheat, ragi, bajra. Then you have pulses and legumes, that is Bengal gram, black gram, green gram, red gram, etc. Milk and milk products, curds, meat and meat products. Then fruit and vegetables is one group, where you get exclusively only fruit and vegetables, and fats and sugar are separate. So food is an expression of social identity. So you are what you eat. That's what the saying says. What you are and what you eat is being projected in what you are. Okay. So food choice values, so it depends on the personality also, and they are significant aspects of personal food system, as they are the meanings and sentimentally they are conducted. For example, adolescents may get used to junk foods because of the peer group, media pressure, etc. Similarly, different age groups will have their different food system. Then, as we told earlier, fruit production in urban is more, and availability is more. So what does this do? So this gives rise to more and more food identity. So there you need to opt. You opt for more, and you're having the purchasing power also. Then comes the cultural identity. So within that culture, or within their lifestyle, within the attitudes, within the beliefs, what are the foods they want to eat? So food is an excellent way to gain insight into a culture. So suddenly you can see people speaking. Oh, Manure people are able to are the ones who consume fish extensively. So that is their culture. So, however, the degrees of importance varies from culture to culture, and poor people may have a different food stuff, and North Karnataka people may have a different food stuff. So they have their own focal point of what raw materials they have to take and what food has to be prepared. Then another important thing is religion and food. So usually there is a general practice. It is for religion and food are closely intertwined, and it influences. Excuse me. Hello. Hello. Really? Ah, okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. Okay, okay. Not good thing. Okay. Ah. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. There was some technical issue, so we will get back. So food serve six general functions in religion's practice. So communication with God or supernatural forces. So whenever food is prepared, it is offered to God. Then demonstration of faith through symbolic act and rituals. So there is one particular ready function you have. There is a particular food which is preferred. Then rejection or worldliness, or you may reject that. And then another one is enhancing of feelings. Then expression of separateness. Then reinforcement of ecological. So all this are few examples. Then different cultures, they have different food stuffs. Okay, cultural food practice. So the cognitive elements and materials that give rise to special eating pattern within the geographical area. So food practices are learned through transmission from parents to children. So what you have, what type of food you consume at home is the one which will be used regularly. So the same thing is given to the child. So the child also happens to consume the same food. So there's a family culture moves on from there. So that is one social interaction, social identity, or cultural food practice. Then social interaction. So here a complex human behavior are impacted by a number of interconnected factors. So socio-cultural factors will influence the acceptance and desirability of sustainable healthy food. So food is used as an expression of happiness. That's what I said. When you're happy and you want to have a get together, you want to have a party, you want to have a function, a marriage, everywhere, birthday, naming ceremony, etc. In the name of that function, you are able to provide food. You are able to give food to the other people and share your enjoyment or share your experience or share your happiness. So in this unit one, we were able to see what food is and what is its function, where does it play a role, and what is the main objectives of this. Then coming to the role of food and eating on personality and social development. So here is the exact psychological behavior. So food is a fundamental human need that influences psychological emotional balance. We have already spoke about that. And personality is a set of relatively stable traits that together determine who we are. So what type of food we consume and what we want to eat is all the which it just be treated as through food. So individual discrepancies in food preferences and dietary habits can depend on underlying differences in personality. So while some characteristics of us change day by day and even hour by hour. So eating behavior is strongly influenced by social, cultural individuals and eat differently when they are with other people compared with when they eat alone. So each and every moment, each and every section, where you eat, what you eat, and with whom you eat, all that comes into picture. The norms of appropriate eating are set by the behavior of other people. So sometimes you may have to change your food behavior based on your companion, what they are, and whom they are. So and this healthy nutritional habits from childhood will also prevent the diseases like chronic disorders, and it will enhance well-being. Okay, so this is taken care by food. Then psychology of eating. So psychology, as you all know, is the study of behavior and how our attitude is, and this eating habit also has the mental process behind how and why people exhibit certain food behavior. So food can have major effect on our mental state. So food can be consumed as a biological perspective. So how it will affect, so that we have already seen in the last chapter. This is one which also acts as coping mechanism. Means once you consume food, you will feel good, or your it determines your dietary habit and food preferences. Suppose you have been on a stress for longer duration, or you have been on a very simple foods for longer duration. Then on an occasion or a situation or on a condition, you happen to consume good food. So this gives you the complete happiness. And then if you are being eating junk food continuously and suddenly you happen to eat healthy food, then also you need to, it will play a definite role. So it helps in the coping the problem of causing stress. So when you are extremely under stress and you happen to eat the food which you like, okay, so that definitely will give you goodness and release your stress. So psychological determinants, which are the psychological determinants? As I said, stress, this can trigger and changes the human behavior that affects the health. And another way it affects our food choice and also complexes. Okay, and it changes eating opportunities, food availability, and meal preparation. Okay, then comes mood. Yeah, it is an individual temperament. It is an individual temperament, and it influences the mood and food choice. So if you have cravings for certain food, especially women during their premenstrual phase or even during the pregnancy, so they will have cravings for different foods. So here also dietary needs will change. So what is your mood? Whether you are in a mood to eat that particular food, that also comes to picture. Then personality traits and relevance to food behavior. That means adherence to good dietary practices has always been linked to disease prevention and better quality of life. So personally, if you are aware of a few things, that if you need to eat some healthy food and you are already accustomed to that, then definitely it will have a role to play, and then it will be relevant to your food behavior. Once you are in that pattern, you are always healthy, and you will not be having a guilt of messing up your meal or eating of excess spicy food or meat food, which will introvert to your health. Instead, it will help you out in helping this food. Okay, it will help you out. Then psychology of eating concerns fat diets. So psychological needs makes another set of conductive experiments where weight management is very, very important. So weight management with commercial diet. So you may not be knowing that with your own diet modification, you can bring down your weight. Instead, what you'll be doing, you'll be going for the commercial foods. That is a psychological mindset. It is possible within your food and modification in your diet also. But what happens because of this conditions where you are unable to claim fast weight loss, you end up in going for commercial food stuffs or some fad diets, like going for fasting for 24 hours or more, and then um, having scientific evidence and therapeutic applications. So you happen to have this problem of psychological behavior, which is concerning with the fat diets. Then you have food and emotion regulation. So that is the desire for nourishment with nutrients and satiety. So emotionally, you are well-being, you are strong enough, you do not have any negative emotions. Instead, you have only positive emotions. Then you go for a better food consumption. If you have negative emotions and you cannot manage your eating habits, you end up in going for the wrong diet. This also definitely plays a role. And that during that condition, when you go for a wrong diet, then there are chances that you happen to become obese or overweight. So that is about food and emotion regulation. Then food behavior and the relationship between mood and taste. So better the mood, better is your taste. Okay, you are in good mood and you want to be accustomed to that, then definitely whatever the food you eat happens to be tasty and healthy. If you are not in a good mood and if you dislike something, anything related, or you're stress is unconditional, then anything what you eat or will definitely affect your eating habits as well as your health and life management also. So what will happen in the daily living? So 50% of the income is spent on the food. So many a times food is the major issue. So whatever you earn, 50% is spent on that. And then what are the food preferences which are directed? So what best you want to give your child? What best you want you yourself to consume? And what better food has to be given to the mother or the parent. So daily life, each time, each section, each variation. Food may be a very simple thing which comes on the plates and you have it, but it has so many dimensions in life. So many dimensions in life, and each and every second, each and every moment, it will be playing with your attitude and moods. Then psychoanalysis. So food, social conditions, and then now behavior of surrounding eating, and when children are in developmental stages. So whether they are in oral state, so what type of meaning food you need to give? All that has to be psychologically analyzed, and then it has to be taken care. Then food socialization. So the relationship between human and food, we spoke about this earlier also. Social context where you will be enjoying or making a network or joining hands in hands with other people, and then that will have an impact on the your condition. Then now food is a basic biological need, you know. So due to hunger, definitely you will consume food, and then you food and your eating habits is sometimes controlled by others. Controlled by others. So suddenly one of your friend comes and say, start eating this. It is good in omega 3 fatty acids. Then you definitely change your food pattern. Then it will definitely change your food pattern. Then just as the parent controls the child controls the parent by accepting or rejecting the food. So many times you place your food for the child, it may say no. It may say no. Okay, it may say no. Coming to the next unit, that is food preferences and fluctuations. So, while food choices in broad term, which frequently includes situational, dynamic, and complex decisions. So, it will include situation, complex, which leads to food behaviors, and also it helps to acquire, prepare, serve food choices of each day with a different criteria. So a wide variety of influence take place. In that, they have been developed as developmental models. Okay, they call it as developmental models. So individual food choices have an understanding throughout the years. Lot of research has been done, and then based on that, the planetary and human health. First one is the food choice and process model. Here, food preferences are rational. So every person has totally different learning experience and concerns in the food. So the range of factors potentially involved in choosing food is tremendously diverse and extensive. So many important components of food choices are depicted in the food process model. So the model is comprehensive and integrated, where it represents the process that the people use in selection of food and their relationship between them. So one is the life course, the influences, and then the personal food choice or the personal food system. In life course, you have people develop and evolve over a time. Okay, from the developmental stage to the school, then the adolescent, and finally the adulthood and the later life. So each type, each age, each point, it is different food choice. Then influence, a wide range of factors play a influence on the food. So it is what you want to cultivate. It can be ideas, personal considerations, resource, social factors, and context. So all this plays a different influences. Then comes your personal food systems. So for personal food systems are the mental process whereby people translate influence upon their food choices into particular food system consumption. So here personal include process of constructing food choice values, classifying foods, and then setting up, balancing, competing, and developing strategy. So all this will enable your food choice. So first of all, managing relationship. That means you want to have a better relationship with your friend or colleague or your husband and wife or whatever it is. Then you happen to have a common food item. Then health is another issue. You want to be well-being and you want to be energetic, and you should not react with allergic condition. Then comes the question of health. Then cost, of course. Anything, whatever, you can't be, everybody cannot be consuming, everybody can't be consuming uh, badam or all the dry fruits which are extremely expensive. So they should see the cost of the food and then react that how much they need to eat and which is good and which is bad for them. Then convenience, of course, it should be easy to prepare, purchase, and consume. So you cannot bring complicated food items. First of all, you should be able to purchase that, and then it should be convenient for your time and situation. So this also plays a role. Then taxonomy of different determinants of food consumption. So this model is proposed by Steenkamp, and he says this is related with physiological effects, sensory perception, biological, psychological, then socio-demographic, and apart from that, environmental factors also. So all this contribute to the food decision process or the food consumption behavior. So the generally they distinguish three types of determinants. One is properties of the food, factors related to the person engaged in food consumption, and environmental factors. So total food quality model, in this they distinguish before and after purchase evaluations. That is before what you want to have, and based on your mindset, taste, health, and convenience, what you want to take. Finally, what finally as outcome it has come. Then after the consumption, what is your mood and model thinking. Then cognitive models and psychosociological models. Okay, cognitive models and psycho physiological models. Here cognitive models is definitely to do with your psychological behavior. So this approach is most often used to deal both thinking patterns and behavior. Then the second one is readiness for your change. Suppose if the doctor says now you are diabetic, you are 50 plus and you have inculcated this diabetic condition, so you need to change. So personally and mentally you need to make up your mind that you want to change. Then learning how to self monitor. So self monitor whether this food is correct for you, whether you can eat it, or mindful food choices, whether this portion size is fine, whether I need to go for a smaller portion size in order to bring down my weight. Then breaking linkages, you should have control on yourself, and then you will have, otherwise it will end up in unhealthy food choices. So just for the urge of taste, if you start eating, then if there is no breakage between, then again the problem arises. Then cognitive behavior. So replacing eating with healthier alternatives. So you are on a junk food consumption pattern, then you definitely change to a healthier food pattern. So this is about cognitive model and psychosociological model. In psychophysiological model, the theoretical approaches which focuses on hunger and satiety. That's what we were saying. Hunger is when you want to eat food. Satiety is when it gives the fullness for the food. Then health behavioral models. That means you are conscious towards your health. Psychologically, you are feeling conscious towards your health. That is health belief model. So this theory, it is just like you take vaccination in order to combat from that disease. So here you will be eating cost effective, cost benefit, healthier foods, which keeps other things out of the session. Then, theory of reasoned actions. That means the theory of planned behavior, which helps the forecast the intention of special activities, such as attitude, perception, then perceived control over the behavior. Then, physiology of food choice. Physiology of food choice. Okay. Here, nutrition physiology, which earlier also we have spoke about, any metabolisms to happen within our body to maintain, to talk, to walk, to food to get digested. That also is a part of food choices. So factors influencing food preferences. That is the ideals. That is ideals are standard people who have already learned and socialized, and they have set an idea. Based on that, you adopt that. Then physical factors. So physical factors is already we have spoke about it, accessibility and availability. So where that food is there, whether it is in your vicinity, whether you are able to access that or whether it is available. Then how much education, knowledge and skill do you have to use that food? Do you know whether that food what you consume is good for your health, good for your presence? That gives your health, knowledge and skill. Then occupation. So work occupation also influences. Suppose if you are sitting for long hours, then inflexible schedule, shift work, multiple jobs, then your food procurement and preparation will have an impact on food choice. Then time constraints. So individuals will be unable to make healthy choices. So because of time constraints, so they do not have sufficient time or situation to prepare food. Hence, they will go for time constraint foods. Then factors influencing food preferences. So characteristics of the individual. So here you have many this one: age, sex, education, income, nutrition, knowledge, cooking skill and attitudes. Then characteristics of food, that is taste, appearance, texture, cost, food type, method of preparation and food combination. Then also characteristic of environment, that is season, employment, mobility, degree of urbanization, size of family and stage of family. So biological factors affecting food preferences we have already gone through. Hunger and satiety and appetite. This hunger and satiety we have spoke about. Appetite is the desire to eat food. That means while you are hungry or while you are biological, there should be an appetization. That means you should be able to uh, salivate for that particular foodstuff. Then definitely if appetite is there, you can consume the required quantity of food. Then economic determinants of foodstuff. As I said, cost, income. Definitely cost also plays a role and income also plays a role. Then socio-cultural determinants of foodstuffs. We have already spoke about what function, what occasion, what culture. Then that culinary habit will come into picture. Then environmental determinants, first is food prices. If the cost of that particular food is very high, definitely you will not go for that. And then market influence. Market influence. So food marketing plays a very very important role. So suppose if there are TV commercials or presence in the social media, definitely you get used to that food stuff and you start buying that food stuff. So that market influence very much plays a role. Then package and portion size. So packaging and portion size of considerable impact on consumption. Then temperature. So ambient temperature is very very important for food. So better the temperature, better will be your purchasing power or your purchasing requirement. Odor, or in other words, in what we call it as flavor of the foodstuffs. You happen to check for, as soon as you take some apple or something, you happen to check for the odor. Then even if there is some noise or one, you may not be able to eat sufficiently, but if it is a soft music is there, definitely it promotes your eating more. Then lighting, if there are too huge lights or very dim lights, you may not be in a comfortable way to consume food. So sufficient light is also required to consume food. Then other major determinants of food preferences. One, psychological likes and dislikes. So what you basically like from first, then what you don't dislike from first, that definitely will not be a part of your diet. Example, scrambled eggs and muffins are delightful today for breakfast, but yesterday you wanted something different. That is fluctuations. So yesterday if you wanted one food stuff, today you would like to have another food stuff, but instead you will not take the same. Then acquired food preferences. Although biological food is simple, a source of nutrition for human, it is much more than that. So even if you have a physiological requirement, psychological requirement, but acquired food preferences is very very important. What you would like to acquire, that is the one which gives. Then awareness is, if you are under the influence of social media, definitely awareness is not a problem. So although the presence of behavior, and then if you have that vegetable is a good this one, definitely you can take. Then attitude towards change, we have already spoke about it. So you have to accept things and then you need to take it further. Then food and sensory stimulus. So taste, palatability, and then all this influence the food preference. Then effect of eating on food selection. So what you eat based on your mood also will help in food selection. Then understanding the needs of the body. Understanding the needs of the body, what your body requires, that also helps in the consumption of food. So that is about food preferences. Then coming to food choices across lifespan and influence of society. So here, food choices are preference are taking starts right from the intrauterine. That means once the baby is born. So it continues to modify throughout the adult years and also during the old age. So food security may not be achieved only by food production and accessibility. So it has to have a different nutritional science and diet, such as food, etc., and the way of pattern and other things. So this also plays a role. Then after that, during the growth and other things, influence of social media and other culture will also play a significant impact on the food choices. So when does the question of change come? Okay, when does the function of change? It happens during the lifespan. So each and every movement it keeps happening. So for coming to the first one, innate infants and children. So although their taste preferences are innate, they are modifiable based on the sensory experience. So if they like that salt taste at the first instant, they'll be asking for salt. If they dislike the bitter taste, they will never want to eat the bitter taste. So high, and they would prefer sugar based foods instead of salt based or bitter foods. So this is the way place, or this is a condition where they start increasing or they want to eat the fresh foods possible. Then adults, as compared to children, adults have a developed likeliness, because they know what is good for them and what is bad for them. So based on that, they decide what has to be consumed and what need not be consumed. Then elderly is one condition when they have health problems. So they happen to be physiologically changing, and then diseases may be affecting, though hence the food system also happens to affect them. As we already spoke about, changes in society will definitely have an implication on food culture. One is urbanization, literacy, how much you know about that. Then increased women employment, because women are also working today. Then they need to have a preferable foodstuff and easy way to consumption, because preparation should be easier. Then social connectivity. So once the social connectivity is there, your waves of culture ways of consumption of food definitely changes. Okay. Excuse me. Then food insecurity and health across lifespan. So in food insecurity, food secured in sense it has to be a nutritiously and safe food. So when concept of food security is evolved, so there is an access for utilization and stability. So food insecurity is defined as limited or uncertain availability of optimum quality of food. So this has to be taken care when food insecurity is there. So this also will have impact on food choices and health. So better secured food, better will be the health. If more insecure food, then it may lead to obesity and other unhealthy dietary patterns. So in summary, so consumption of foods with low nutritional value or disordered nutrient variety, then limiting source to obtain adequate or healthy food. So lack of access to health and safe and financially affordable foods. So lack of resources to obtain facilities to store and cook food. Then repeated cycles of food deprivation and overeating of available food. Increased stress, unfavorable environment, and will relate it to poor health related quality of life. So food insecurity must be taken care, and it should be seen that food what is consumed definitely as to play a role. Then in all this situation, there is one which plays role, that is mass media. So marketing, digital forum definitely helps food to be produced. Earlier, we were not consuming oats, etc. So today we have, because of the mass media and because of all this YouTube culture and Facebook culture, we know that oats also can be an integral part of our healthy food, and it is a secured food. So based on that, we give importance to that uh, uh, importance to that food. So there is an impact on food choices. So children are known to more likely to prefer high fat. Okay. Then food advertising is known to enhance the request for specific food. Then television viewing also imparts unhealthy food preferences. Then unhealthy snacking. While you are watching television, you happen to snack the food. Okay, you happen to snack the food. You will be sitting, then you will be feeling like eating, then you will start eating the food. So that is one issue. Then the increase in snacking can lead to significant weight gain, and also the type of quantity of consumed is influenced by exposure of unhealthy advertisements. Then these advertisements are also unhealthy foods that are having stronger impact of our healthier foods among, especially among adolescent population. So especially where girls and women are showcased, then contribute for development of body dissatisfaction. So eating disorders definitely raises and leads to overweight and obese. Then weight bias also is presented by media by giving some unhealthy conditions, and this unhealthy conditions is always being imparted and during the, especially during the adolescent period, and when they adopt it, they go and secure this and go this and advertise that to their family also. So role of parents is very very important. Parents need to monitor the eating habits of children, eating habits of their adolescent girls or adolescent boys. So this definitely can impart healthy eating habits right from the childhood, right from the childhood. So this is about preferences, food choice, food selection, food consumption, what you want to eat and what you don't want to take. So this is about this one. So thank you.